It's Kareen here, and what you're about to witness is one entrepreneur's journey on how they navigate a challenge or need support in an area of their business with me. Results may vary if you try this on your own. The purpose of sharing this with you is to help you know that help is always available and you don't have to do it alone.
I think my biggest concern is we're bringing new people on, and now I just want to make sure we're in a position where we can get their books full.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous about that because marketing has always been like our Achilles heel.
Okay.
We don't have the money to really fully invest into like the Google ads the way we could. Social media, it doesn't really bring us a lot of eyes to our site. Our best referral is word of mouth, and I've been really active on that. I've been able to get on like different news outlets, but they'll trickle in some, but it just doesn't seem
Consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get clear on the ideal client, just so I'm clear on the ideal client for the services. Because once we know that, then I can help figure out where they're hanging out and how you attract them in.
Yeah. So our ideal client, typically, we primarily work with Black women and women of color. So typically our clientele can range from like working professionals. We'll have some that are like teachers, doctors, lawyers, judges, things of that nature. They will be around the age between, I'll say 25 to 46. We'll actually have some on the older side that's like in the 70s and things, but they're pretty well to do and they will pay out of pocket.
Sure.
Most people are paying with their insurance.
Okay.
So that is like the ideal clientele that we have.
Okay. And the current way you have attracted them in has been more referral based, sounds like, or just people who know you and people who refer you and your team in.
Yeah. And so we're on like listservs like Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Girls. We do have like a strong word of mouth on Facebook, not so much on Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of ours, and then we do have a lot of our clients that referred their other family and friends, and that's how we kind of keep a steady referral coming in. And then also with people leaving out, some of those clients left because they, once you spill your heart to somebody, starting over just seems daunting.
So the clients that have left, interesting. So because you had turnover and those people went off and built their own practices, like how was
one of them left to go build her own practice.
And so took the clients with them.
Pretty much. And she had been with us for a long time. And so it was okay. And she had the clinical to do so. The other one, it was only another one that didn't. And she left on bad terms and she took those clients anyway. So we're in a process of challenging because now she's actually filed for unemployment and I had to challenge as to why she does not do it.
Yeah. Are they contracted or they were all employees?
In Illinois, they have to be employees. In Georgia, contractors.
Okay. Do you have any partnerships? You said you take insurance. Are you on the insurance networks?
Mm-hmm.
So like your business comes up listed. Sorry?
I'm on all of them.
Okay. And then I'm trying to think strategies on attraction, because I always feel like there's a shortage of top therapists to work with, right? And so being known that you actually have availability as you're building up, the resources, especially for this market. I know that there's also the underlining like cultural issue of therapy. So like the ability to go to a therapist and how that's viewed is becoming more acceptable now, but it's still in the culture of like, do I even tell, which is a great channel for marketing to be sharing and using. So if marketing has been the Achilles heel, I do think we need to get comfortable with sharing the availability, that you have spots open, that there's that what insurances you take, like consistently telling the story, because there's always somebody looking for help. But the challenge is how to find the right help in the market. So if we're not known that we have availability and we can take on new clients and we do accept these insurances and it's super clear in that messaging outbound, then it's really hard for us to be found.
Right.
So where the hesitation on the marketing side, like on the socials or even through SEO, are you building anything out from a blog standpoint? Do you get on any podcasts? Like, is there any sort of, the broadcasting attraction that even if it's happened in the past, I think repurposing that content to keep it consistently going outbound and then sharing that there's availability for people in your markets to come and work with your team.
Yeah, I like those ideas. I think the problem why we didn't start with that was because my practice took off in the pandemic. And so a lot of that was limited. And then once things kind of started shifting, I had already moved out of Chicago and now I'm in Georgia starting all over
Huh.
again. So
Got
now
it.
I'm trying to be more strategic about going back home consistently, maybe like once a month or once every other month, so we can build those referral funnels up because we didn't have to because we were one of the few Black practices that only had Black women therapists. So that made us like stand
Mm,
out from that
hmm.
standpoint because we only take up 4% of the field. But now it's kind of like, I feel like we were on the COVID high and then the bubble
Yeah.
bust. And now it's like, okay, I gotta rebuild from a place that is actually sustainable. So the targeted partnerships, definitely. I've been in the works of doing that. And what I've also been doing is now I tell my team, you guys have to participate in marketing efforts. So now we hold them accountable to that. We did like a personality assessment to help them discover what's the best ways for them to do marketing efforts that's on them. But I always tell them, I was like, it's kind of just like when you're in a realty group, you have the practice, but you still have to market yourself because honestly, I was able to build my practice off of social media, off
Yeah.
of me
Oh,
alone.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's trying to get them in that mindset and building around that. But yeah, I am gonna get more just take some time out to just look at different partnerships that I could possibly
Build the relationships for referrals.
but
Yeah.
it's been rough because I had to let a lot of people go that was providing. So like the social media and things that I used to have somebody to do it. Now it's kind of like I'm trying to navigate how to balance it all on top of being a part of this program, on top of trying to do everything in the business. So it just can be very overwhelming
It
and
can be.
I'm very exhausted if I'm being
Yeah. So pick the route then that you are most comfortable with. So if the relational route for defined partner referral is the one you're most comfortable with, focus on that one
okay.
and knock that one out of the park. It doesn't have to be all the things. It doesn't,
Okay.
because your practice has a capacity with the certain number of hours that your team can actually provide. And now that you're rebuilding, the capacity is tighter until the team comes up to play. You want to make sure that that schedule is full.
Yeah.
So work on the partnerships, the relationships you have, letting people know that there's availability, that there's, to bring things on. And in my mind, I'm like, I think also going into OBGYN, menopausal women who don't understand the crazy that comes with that shift. And especially for um, Black owned practices that also want to work with, Black therapists, like Black female therapists in the menopausal world. Like that is a huge topic right now, as well as clinics are looking, like doctors are looking for that type of referral as well, because it's needed as you go through like hormone therapy treatments or whatever's going on. That shift, that would be another line of support to let people know if your team is qualified, which they are, sounds like, yeah, that would be a really good avenue to reintroduce yourself to some of your existing potential referral partners too. That almost like a specialty, 'cause sometimes it's therapy is hard in that it's hard to describe the impact of the work unless you've actually gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to almost be like very relatable to the person in that pain or in that like unknown of like, how do I navigate through this? I've had my team of support of different methods through different phases of my life, through all the things, because I know, because I was fortunate, I started at the age of like 16, 17 to see someone to talk to and realize how much that helped me, that I will always lean into that. But if I've never had the experience and I'm going through a shift in life that I didn't know that support was needed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the retelling of it. So I love the idea, and also the ability to create wait lists and almost create the. I love that. I love that you did that, Amy. Where it's like, got so popular to be referred to that a wait list was created, because as you're rebuilding, to even create that process for yourself, it also creates this like abundance of, we are going to be so busy that we also need a wait list process. And just having that energy too, even from the fatigue you're feeling of the rebuild and having to kind of start over again. But I love the starting over again with lessons learned.
Yeah, I just like the money that went out with them, but I'm fine with this new team.
Yes. And the money will come. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the cleansing of that is happening for a reason, for you to stabilize even deeper, and to what you're actually trying to build. Because I'm sure there was compromise to some degree on maintaining who you had to maintain when, they leave so abruptly.
It was the people pleaser part of me. I wanted to make sure the work culture was so great, but then the problem with that was they weren't doing the work.
Yes. Yeah. So the standards matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we have KPIs in place. We have honest conversations. We have new leadership, everything. So yeah.
I love that. And that shows the responsibility you will always have, but now you're doing it with boundaries.
Yes.
And a level of measure against what it means to be part of your team and serve under your brand. Just want to remind you that breakthroughs and strategies are here for you. You don't have to be isolated on your business building journey. If you'd like to have a chance to connect with me and let me be all up in your business, go to heykareen.com/connect, and a team member will share how you can obtain the best support at this time. You always can have me in your pocket by leveraging my AI. Go to heykareen.app, download it, and start chatting away. And of course, I am always here, willing and ready to be the support you need. All you have to do is ask.